Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake, the most dangerous snake in North America. Not because it's the most venomous, because it's the biggest, injects the most venom per bite, and lives exactly where farmers work. 8 feet long, 10 pounds. Fangs that reach an inch in length and fold back against the roof of the mouth when not in use. When the mouth opens, the fangs swing forward on a hinge mechanism, locking into striking position. The entire sequence from coil to strike takes less than half a second. You won't see it coming. The venom is hemotoxic. It destroys red blood cells, breaks down tissue, and disrupts the blood's ability to clot. A bite left untreated doesn't just hurt. It liquefies the flesh around the wound. Documented cases show tissue death spreading up entire limbs within hours. The body's own enzymes, activated by the venom, start digesting the victim from inside. The rattle is a warning system built from keratin segments that add one piece each time the snake sheds. A large adult can have 20 or more segments. The sound travels 60 feet. Every farmer in the southeast knows that sound. It's the sound that stops you mid-step and makes you look down very carefully before moving. Eastern diamondbacks are declining. Habitat loss, deliberate killing, and rattlesnake roundups have reduced populations dramatically. The snake that most Americans fear most is disappearing from the landscape faster than almost any other reptile in the country. If you encounter one, back up slowly. It wants nothing to do with you. Every documented bite on a farmer involved either accidentally stepping on one or attempting to handle or kill it. Leave it alone, and it will leave you alone. The next snake gives no warning at all. Copperhead, the snake responsible for more venomous bites in the United States than any other species. Not the most deadly, the most likely to bite you. There is a difference. The camouflage is the problem. Copperheads are the color of dead leaves. Exactly the color of dead leaves. Walking through a pile of fall leaves, moving brush, clearing a fence line. Any of those activities can put your hand or foot 6 inches from a copperhead you cannot see. By the time you see it, it has already decided whether to strike. Most copperhead bites are dry. Somewhere between 25 and 35% of strikes inject no venom at all. The snake controls venom delivery. Biting defensively, it sometimes withholds the dose. A dry bite still requires hospital evaluation because you can't tell dry from envenomated by looking at the wound. When venom is injected, the pain is immediate and severe. Swelling begins within minutes. The limb can double in size within hours. Deaths are rare. Fewer than 5 per year in the United States, but the recovery takes weeks and tissue damage can be permanent. Some bite victims report pain at the site for years afterward. Copperheads eat primarily mice and rats. On a farm, they go exactly where rodents go. Barns, wood piles, haystacks, under equipment. They are performing useful pest control while being a danger to anyone working in those same spaces. A snake doing its job in the worst possible location. Thick leather boots and watching where you put your hands are the only reliable prevention. No device, no chemical, no ultrasonic repeller does anything a copperhead respects. Boots and attention. The next snake hunts in a completely different environment. Cottonmouth, also called water moccasin, the only venomous water snake in North America, and the only American snake that routinely holds its ground instead of retreating. Most snakes flee from humans. Cottonmouths don't. The threat display is unmistakable. The snake coils, opens its mouth wide, and holds it open. The interior is a stark white, the cotton that gives it its name. It vibrates its tail even though it has no rattle. It is telling you exactly what it intends to do if you get any closer. Most animals in nature bluff. The cottonmouth is not bluffing. The venom is hemotoxic and cytotoxic. It destroys both blood cells and tissue simultaneously. Cottonmouth bites produce some of the worst wound photographs in medical literature. Surgeons document cases where entire sections of muscle had to be removed. The venom has enzymes that actively break down protein, the material muscles are made of. They live in every wet environment on a southern farm. Ponds, irrigation ditches, creek banks, flooded fields, around water troughs. Farmers who check irrigation equipment at dawn and dusk encounter them regularly. The snake is not invading. It was there first. The farm was built in its habitat. One documented behavior disturbs people more than the aggression. Cottonmouths have been observed entering boats and fishing areas and not leaving. Unlike other snakes that immediately escape when a human arrives, a cottonmouth in a confined space will stay and defend the space. A snake that treats your boat like its territory is a genuinely different problem than a snake trying to escape. Give them a wide berth around water. Never reach under banks or into brush near water without looking first. They're not aggressive without reason, but they don't require much reason. The next snake is so small most people don't take it seriously. That's exactly why it kills. Timber rattlesnake, the snake on the Gadsden flag. Don't tread on me. The founding fathers chose this animal as the symbol of American resistance because they respected it above all other creatures on the continent. Benjamin Franklin argued it should be the national symbol instead of the bald eagle. Franklin's reasoning was specific. He wrote that the rattlesnake never strikes without warning, never attacks unprovoked, and once it strikes, never fails to follow through. He saw those as American virtues. Whether you agree with his politics or not, he understood the animal accurately. The venom varies by geography in ways that still confuse researchers. Timber rattlesnakes from the southeast produce primarily hemotoxic venom that destroys tissue. Animals from the northeast can produce neurotoxic venom that attacks the nervous system. Same species, different zip code, different mechanism of injury. The reason for this geographic variation is not fully understood. They live exceptionally long lives for a snake, up to 30 years in the wild. They are slow to reproduce. Females give birth every 3 to 5 years. A population hit hard by killing or habitat loss takes decades to recover. States that remove protections have watched populations collapse and struggle to come back. Before we continue, subscribe now if you haven't yet. Western Diamondback rattlesnake, the snake of the American West. Every Western movie, every desert scene, every cowboy reaching for his gun at the sound of a rattle. This is the snake. It lives across the entire Southwest, from Arkansas to California, in every terrain from sea level to 7,000 feet elevation. Texas alone has rattlesnake roundups that pull thousands of animals from the ground every year. The town of Sweetwater, Texas holds the world's largest, capturing and displaying up to 5,000 rattlesnakes in a single weekend. People handle them, milk them for venom, skin them, and eat them. It is the most concentrated human rattlesnake interaction on Earth. The heat-sensing pits between the eye and nostril can detect a temperature difference of 0.003 degrees Celsius. That sensitivity allows the snake to strike accurately at warm-blooded prey in complete darkness. The pit organs create a thermal image of the environment overlaid on the visual image. The snake effectively sees in infrared. Livestock bites are a real agricultural problem in the Southwest. Horses and cattle are bitten on the nose while grazing. The swelling from a facial bite can close the airway. Ranchers in rattlesnake country know the signs. A horse with a suddenly swollen face needs its nostrils held open with a tube until the swelling reduces. The standard intervention is 2 pieces of garden hose inserted into the nostrils. Western diamondbacks account for the most snakebite deaths in the United States annually, not because their venom is the most potent, but because they are common, large, and share territory with millions of agricultural workers who are outdoors year-round. Numbers and proximity do what potency alone cannot. The next snake is small enough to hide in a work glove. Pygmy rattlesnake, 18 inches long. The rattle is so small it sounds like an insect. Most people who hear it think it's a cricket. By the time they realize what they're looking at, they've already taken the steps that put them in strike range. The rattle segments are tiny and fragile. They break off easily. Many pygmy rattlesnakes found in the wild have no functional rattle at all. A rattlesnake that cannot rattle is a snake with no warning system. You find out it exists when it bites you. The venom causes severe local tissue destruction. Deaths are rare because the volume injected is small. The snake is small, but the localized damage can be significant. Documented cases include partial finger amputations from bites on the hand. The tissue dies and does not recover. Small snake, permanent consequences. They are extremely common in the Southeast. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas. More common than most residents realize because they're easy to overlook. A pygmy rattlesnake curled under a log looks like a stick with texture. A pygmy rattlesnake in leaf litter is essentially invisible. The danger profile is specific. Bite from a snake you didn't know was there, on the hand or foot during routine farm work. Not dramatic. Not a confrontation you walked into. Just a moment of not looking carefully enough. And the next snake doesn't need venom to terrify people, but it has it anyway. Coral snake. Red touch yellow. Kill a fellow. Red touch, black, friend of Jack. That rhyme exists because the coral snake's color pattern has multiple non-venomous mimics, and Americans needed a field identification system simple enough to remember in a panic. The venom is neurotoxic. It doesn't destroy tissue. It shuts down the nervous system. The mechanism is different from every other snake on this list. A coral snake bite can feel minor initially. No immediate severe pain, minimal swelling. The victim feels almost fine for hours. Then the neurotoxin reaches the nervous system and respiratory paralysis begins. The antivenom situation is a genuine medical problem. Wyeth Pharmaceuticals stopped producing coral snake antivenom in 2003. The FDA allowed existing stockpiles to be used past expiration. The last confirmed domestic production of new antivenom ran out years ago. American hospitals treating coral snake bites now rely on supportive care, mechanical ventilation, and hope the paralysis reverses before permanent damage occurs. The bite mechanics are unusual. Coral snakes have small, fixed fangs in the front of the mouth. They are not efficient at delivering venom in a single strike. They tend to hold on and chew, working the fangs deeper. The instinct to shake off or pull away from a bite is the wrong response with a coral snake. Movement works the fangs in further. They are secretive, small, and rarely encountered. Most bites happen when someone picks one up, thinking it's a harmless scarlet king snake. The rhyme works. Learn the rhyme. The final snake has the longest reach of any snake in North America. Massasauga rattlesnake, the forgotten rattlesnake. While Western Diamondbacks get the movies and Eastern Diamondbacks get the fear, the Massasauga quietly disappeared from most of its range while nobody was paying attention. The name comes from the Chippewa language and means great river mouth. This snake lived across the wetlands, prairies, and river bottomlands of the Midwest, exactly the land that became the American Corn Belt. Drain the wetlands, plow the prairie, plant the corn, and the Massasauga vanishes. The conversion of the Midwest to agricultural production erased this snake from Ohio, Indiana, Iowa, and most of Illinois. What was once common is now threatened. The venom is hemotoxic and potent relative to body size, a small snake producing efficient venom. Deaths are extremely rare because encounters are rare and medical care is available. But the cytotoxic component causes serious localized damage. Documented bites on the hand have required skin grafts. Massasaugas are protected in most states where they still exist. Michigan, Pennsylvania, and parts of Wisconsin have remaining populations. Finding one is increasingly unusual. A farmer in Ohio who encountered them regularly in the 1960s would find none today in the same fields. The agricultural landscape that produces American food also eliminated the snake that lived in the original ecosystem. The Massasauga is what happens when a species can't adapt fast enough to a landscape that changes in one human generation. The farm ate the snake. Not dramatically, not deliberately, just by existing. 8 venomous snakes. 8 completely different stories. Comment below. Subscribe for more barnyard breakdowns.